Hi there, my name's Lucy. I wanted to talk to you today about a problem I've had over the last 6 weeks with thrombophlebitis or superior venous thrombosis. In simple terms, a blood clot in my arm. Basically, I had a cannula inserted in my hand for a minor procedure at the beginning of December, about 6 weeks ago, and developed a bit of a bump on my hand, which I thought, fine, it's just irritated my vein, it'll be okay in a week or so. But 3 weeks later, the pain started to extend up my arm, and I could feel the rock hard vein kind of tracking up my arm towards my elbow. So, long story short, I got seen and had an ultrasound scan, which confirmed that I have a blood clot about 20 centimetres long running from the bump on my hand all the way up my arm. I don't know if you can really see on the camera, but it starts here and then goes all the way up to about here, which, to be honest, is really painful, really difficult not to catch it on everything. Can't bend my wrist now because it contracts the vessel and makes it really painful. So the reason I wanted to share was because it's quite a rare thing apparently, and I had an awful lot of differences in opinion as to how to treat it at first. When I first went to A&E, they basically said, we'll watch and wait for a week, keep it elevated and take some anti-inflammatories, which I did. And then a few days later, it was starting to get worse. So I went back to the hospital and was told that I'd go for the scan and to ice my hand and my arm to elevate it and to compress it. So I did. I went out and got a sling. I went out and got a tube be fast bandage and put that on my arm and regularly iced it 3 or 4 times a day, which blooming hurt, if I'm honest, but I did what I was told. Anyway, still didn't get any better. Had the scan, confirmed the clot, and was then started on a blood thinner tablet, which I had to take double dose of for a week and then a single dose. So I'm now on the single dose because I'm in week 2. Still got the same problems. So to be honest, I'm a nurse. I work at a hospital. I thought, I've seen the GP, I've seen the consultant. None of them particularly knew what to do with me, although they were as helpful as they could be. So I decided to refer myself to the vascular team at my local hospital, who were absolutely amazing. Told me not to ice it, but to put a hot water bottle on it as many times as I could during the day, or keep it resting in a bowl of hot water. The idea of that being that it absolutely opens up the blood vessel so that the blood that I've got trying to flow through that vein with the medication on board can actually get to the blood clot, which obviously makes a lot of sense. Not to compress it, because by compressing it I'm actually flattening my clotted vein, making it even harder for the blood to flow and increasing my pain levels. And they did say to continue to elevate it where possible, but not to have it in a sling. I think the sling gave me more problems with shoulder pain and back pain, whereas now I'm moving it as I can. I'm keeping it up when I'm resting, trying to keep using it so that it doesn't get stiff and make things 10 times worse than when I started. And if things don't improve in the next week, I should be going back for another scan to make sure it hasn't tracked up any further. I think the one thing I was really worried about was you hear all about DVTs, deep vein thrombosis, and bits of clot flying off and heading up to your lungs and giving you lots of problems, which can be life-threatening. But in a vein down where I've got it in my hand and my arm, it's a long, long way from major vessels. So I was really reassured that actually, it's not anything that's life-threatening, but obviously it may take a long time to resolve. I'm now on the blood thinners for 3 months. With the hope that things start to help, the blood starts to flow, I get the sensation back in my hand and get a bit more function in it, which would be really nice because it's a bit disabling at present, to be honest. But we plump along and fingers crossed it will resolve. Apparently the clot can take 3 to 6 months to totally go, but I guess once it's gone down a bit, I'll get my range of movement back. So I thought it would be really helpful to let you know the top tips as to how to help and what not to do to help. I hope you're never in the same situation, but if you are, and Google like I did, I found next to nothing on superficial vein thrombosis, especially in the upper limb, plenty in the lower limbs. So I really hope it helps.